So we're here with the Macho Man, Brady Bacon, and my first question is, because I don't know the answer to this, how'd you get the nickname the Macho Man?
It's a little interesting story. When I was a kid, I used to be a wrestling fan, watch Randy Savage, and then sometimes late after the races, I'd do some impersonations, and Randy Savage was one of them. And I guess an announcer found out. I don't remember which one or how. It was in my USAC days, and they kind of, as a joke, said the Macho Man, and then I did the flex kind of as a joke back, and then it stuck. So it's worked out good. Kids like it, they remember it, and they like to do the flex like they've won the race. So kind of a weird, I've had nicknames before, but this one just stuck.
That's awesome, though. And you talk about the kids, and that's something I notice about you, and something I really appreciate about you is you're very good with the fans. You always take time. You're always in your trailer for the fans and that. And where does that come from? Is that something, because you're a third generation racer, is that something your dad and your grandfather did, or is that just?
I think that kind of, there's so much more that the kids have access to. They can watch videos on the internet or things like that. Back then, it was kind of larger than life. They got to see that car on the track, and maybe in the pits after the races, they would see their favorite driver. But no, I mean, merchandise is a huge part of our making a living, and I try to make time to go down there and talk to kids or even adult fans, sign their stuff, and just got in the habit of trying to do that every night, and I think the fans appreciate it, so we try to keep it up, and it helps us. I get to see my kids usually when they're up there, so check in on how everything's going, make sure they haven't burnt the trailer down or anything like that. So just got in the habit of doing it, and people seem to like it, and we try to just make time for that. A lot of times the guys, our schedule is more and more every year. There's more races, so we don't have as much time to hang around after the races as maybe we used to, so I try to make that time during the races if things go smooth.
And you talk about your kids and that, and it's something else too, is your family's very involved with you. They're always with you and traveling around. How fun is that? How good is that to have your, because you do cool stuff too, like you'll take them and go see things while you're down here in Florida and stuff like that.
Yeah, we usually try to, we've taken them to Disney a couple times down here, and we just took them to Universal this year. But they're getting old enough, they can kind of appreciate other things. I think they had more fun trying to find the alligators in the gator pond at Volusia than, maybe even going to Universal. So we had a little alligator scare at night the first night we were there, and so they'll be talking about that for a while. But yeah, we try to take them, different places to try to, eat different foods, and we've made a lot of friends throughout the country. So found some cool spots in Pennsylvania. There's a little theme park for, families and kids their age. So we try to do as much as we can. It's, a little bit of a sacrifice for them, whether they know it or not being home all the time. And, we try to make time, kind of our weekends are like maybe Monday and Tuesday in the summer, and, try to take off maybe a little early and, take them swimming or hang out at home, grill out and stuff like that. So we have maybe not the most normal schedule, but we try to make the most of it. But we do think it's important that they are in regular school, and we try to work our schedule. Sometimes they might not always get to go. But they do miss this week in Florida. It's kind of their big week they get to miss because we're down here racing all week. So we try to minimize that. But luckily the USAC schedule is pretty friendly for that in the spring and the fall. We're usually pretty close to home, and they might only have to miss half a day on a Friday or something.
And that's something, let's talk about you as a kid, because if memory serves, you skipped your sophomore year of school, valedictorian, and tell us, and then you decide to go into racing, and tell us a little bit about that. As far as, obviously you were a very good student.
Yeah, I mean, I raced all my life. My dad had raced since I was born. My grandfather raced. I started racing quarter midgets when I was 5, and then by the time I was probably 7, 8, we were racing 3 nights a week. Me and my dad, or just me, would race Friday night a micro. He would race a sprint car on Saturday, and then we'd race a quarter midget on Sunday. So there's a lot of times we raced 3 nights a week, and then later we would race 2 nights a week in multiple classes. I would even race against my dad for a couple years in micro, so that was pretty cool. But always a good student. I think it maybe came easier to me than most, but took it seriously, and wanted to make sure I got good grades. And my parents knew I was capable of getting them, so they always used that against me too. If you don't get all A's, then you're not racing. So I knew that they kind of hold that against me. But yeah, I did really well in school, but by the time I was 17, I was racing full time. For Casey Kane Racing. At that point, I was a senior because I skipped a year. And I mean, obviously, that's what I wanted to do. And actually went and toured Purdue University and talked to their admissions counselor I was a National Merit Scholar, so I kind of had a choice of where I wanted to go. Had scholarships at OU and Purdue, and we looked at Rose-Hulman too. And the admissions counselor actually said, "Hey man, it sounds like you got a really good opportunity to race. I would do that first,
Yeah.
and you can always come back to school." My mom's jaw hit the floor, and then so from that point forward, we kind of knew that that's probably the direction we were going to go. See if the racing thing worked out, and if not, there's always, you can always go back and do the other stuff. But it might have been a once in a lifetime opportunity
Yeah.
to race, and we've been able to make it work ever since.
And you have, and that leads me into my next thing is you've owned your own team since 2011, maybe 10 or 11 in there
Yeah.
somewhere, and that to me, because you're how old? 33, 33, yeah, 33. That blows my mind. Like, how did you pull that off?
Mike and Megan Eubanks gave me an incredible opportunity. After 2008, the economy kind of crashed and lost the deal with. I was on actually a Dodge driver development deal, is how I was with Casey Kane and Chip Ganassi, and that all went away. All the manufacturers pulled back, so I kind of got not knocked back to square one, but knocked back. And then that year we had ran some TNT Sprint Bandit races with Mike and Megan and won several of them and had really good success. So went back there, and they had wing sprint cars at the time. And just they kind of let me run the team as if it was mine, and for 2009 and 2010, and then they kind of told me they wanted to kind of step away, but here's the stuff, you can try to make it work on your own. We're going to sell the truck and trailer, so I got my own truck and trailer, but I got to use all the equipment, and kind of that was the foundation for building my own team, and we get to use their shop. So those first 2 years I got to learn on their money, which I obviously treated it like my own, and then that gave me kind of the foundational skills to be able to run my team after that. And then I started racing for Hoffman and kind of had my team on the side and just tried to build it and build it and build it. And then, when things went wrong, I lost the deal with the 63 car. I still had my stuff there and was capable of kind of picking up there and making the most of that year, and then got back with Hoffman's and been with Hoffman's ever since. So it's kind of a joint effort. A lot of the equipment's at my shop, and run it. I kind of manage it all myself, and just talk to Rob every now and then. He's not as hands-on as he used to be. He's got a lot going on with work and family and stuff. So we just kind of always made it work. Every time there was a time when we had to kind of just jump in with both feet, we jumped in and managed to stay afloat. And my wife's been beside me the whole time. We've been together since 2008, so she's been up through all the ups and downs, and all the times when we had to make a decision and kind of put all the chips in, and we've been able to still got chips in the pile and still got cards in our hands, so we're still done fairly well for ourselves and won some championships, and feel like we have an awesome team around us, a lot of supporters that have been through us that whole entire time, and people that we've gained along the way, and great friendships, and fortunate for, I don't think I'd change any way that it all went, and kind of glad to be kind of in charge of my own destiny, and kind of the only person that can fire me is my wife. So.
Yeah. Well, and you hit on two things I want to talk about. You said won some championships. I like how you put that. A 4-time champ with USAC, only the third person in history to do it. You have a shot this year being a 5-time champ, obviously sprint car. Only one other person, Levi Jones, did that. How good does that make you feel to know that you have that kind of success that on your family team, you should say, or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good. Obviously, that first one with kind of me running the team was really special, which was my 3rd championship. The first championship was really special, obviously, and kind of get that first one off your, the monkey off your shoulder, monkey off your back, feels really good. But then you kind of have that pressure of being able to repeat, and we've repeated over the course of several years. So, makes you feel confident that you always have the ability to do it, as long as things even remotely go our way. We feel like we're the leading contender for the championship. Last year just wasn't our year. Things weren't going our way. They were going in the way of some other people, and we had a pretty big valley for a long period of time during the year, and had things out of our control happen that put us out of contention. But we picked up the year at the end of the year, won the Oval Nationals, got some momentum, and
got the Bubby Jones Master going faster.
Yeah, Master going faster. So financially, it was still a really good year. That the West Coast kind of saved our year, and gives us momentum, confidence heading into this year. And we had a lot of things going on outside of the racing, moving, building a house, living in the motorhome for a while, and whether you like it or not, that stuff does play a part in your on-track ability. So this year I kind of feel renewed. Even going out west, everything was kind of done. We were transitioned into our new house and kind of normal life again. So
Yeah.
I felt kind of a renewed sense of focus going out west, and we had a lot of success. And same thing with this off season and going into this season, we feel like we are back on track and fine tuned some stuff, found some stuff at the end of the year, and same team, same equipment, engines and stuff the same. Gene Francoiac helps us with that, and Matt Hummel, DJ LeBeau, kind of our core group. We just keep kind of polishing and getting better, and hopefully we can get another championship this year.
And that was actually my second question. You just talked about a little bit. You have established some relationships that have served you throughout almost your whole career. And that, I think, is a testament to you as a person, but also to your family, and that you have these lasting relationships. That has to make you feel good too, to know that you...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people are like family. Mike and Megan Eubanks they live by my parents at the lake, where my grandpa's house was, and my dad actually drove for Mike and Megan when he was like 16. So it's been a long, family relationship with them, and they still help on the 69 car. And Gene Francoiac, been with him for, he's helped us for I think 4 or 5 years. And I actually started running his 360 probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago. We'd run like the Winter Challenge stuff out west in Arizona. He gave us an engine and kind of just built a relationship on that, and continued to grow it. I've been with some of my supplier sponsors. Kaiser Wheels, I think, is going on 20 years we've been with them, and Fatheads is I think 11 or 12 years we've been with them. So yeah, it's just we're super loyal and like to be with people that have the same goals as us. We want it to feel like when we win, they win, and obviously I think they feel the same way. We've had a lot of people that have stuck with us for a long time.
And then you also, and we have to touch on the Hoffman team, winningest team in the history of USAC, and to be affiliated with a team like that has got to be good too, to know that it's a powerhouse team. You are a powerhouse team.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that kind of sticks out to me is it was not necessarily known for a team that was loyal to their drivers. They were quick to change the seat, and I think they've had 123 drivers. I mean, they've been doing it for 90 years, but when I kind of came into the team, they were switching drivers, and they would not even necessarily run the same driver all year. They would have maybe a pavement driver and get the best dirt driver they could get for each track they went to. They won a championship like that with Tracy Hines on the pavement, and then the best available guy on each dirt track. So to be able to never really have been fired or quit, we went our separate ways there for a while. I was going to do some more wing racing, and but we never, I never got fired from the Hoffmans, or haven't got fired yet. So that's actually a pretty big feather in my cap. We just had chemistry from the beginning, both Richard and I and Rob and I, and we just, I think, had an understanding that we obviously we all want to win, and we're all willing to do whatever it takes, and being able to communicate with the other party to see whatever it takes to make that happen. I just think we had an understanding of that, and a mutual respect for each other, and have been able to stay together for, I think this may be our 9th or 10th year together.
That's incredible. And then I guess the other thing too is we're going to lean into you as a veteran. If there's a kid that's up and coming, wants to get into racing, what's the best piece of advice you can give them?
Just go out there and do it. I mean, it's not going to be given to you. It seems like less and less they're willing to maybe take a risk or do something out of their comfort zone, or think it's going to be given to them, or sometimes you might have to go scrape mud for free or just to learn, or there's not as much volunteering anymore, but that's worth something. I mean, someone's eventually, if you go out there and work hard with somebody, they're going to see it. I mean, that's how Justin Grant worked on cars. Hunter Schoenberg, Chris Wyndham, they've all worked. I drove for Walker. Was my first sprint car ride actually in USAC. Only drove for him one time, but we ran, I think, quick time and ran 5th. Was my first non-wing sprint car race. Was with Jeff Walker. But just go out there and do it. Do whatever you can all the time. There's always something to do. If you have a car yourself, go work on it. Ask questions. Most veterans will answer your questions if you ask them. Only once. Don't ask the same question twice, but that's the only dumb question, is the one you have to ask twice. So you gotta keep at it. It's not easy, and you're gonna fail, and just gotta keep trying, and maybe it doesn't work out, but racing's still got a lot of opportunities, and it's there's a lot of people out here that love what they do. It might not make you rich, but it's awfully fun.